Well, hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of North Country Ham. Today's episode, I'm going to change it up a little bit, change the paces some. The last few videos I posted were studying along with me for my extra class. As we all know, studying can get a little dry, so I wanted to change it up a little bit and go over some software programs and use that I use a lot on digital modes, FT8. It's WSJT and Grid Tracker. So let's take a look. Alright, well, I'm going to go in and show you on my desktop the settings that I've got for GridTracker and WSJT, and how I've got it set up that it works with my radio. Now, your settings may not be exactly the same, but it might give you a good starting point. So let's transition over to the desktop here, and I'll show you the programs and what I've got set up. So let's take a look. Okay, you can see here on view of my desktop, and you can see how I've got it configured for my display, how I like to see it and what makes sense to me. And I've got it this way because, I've got my WSJT here, my grid tracker next to it, so I can see my contacts and spots. And I like to put my call roster over here, where you can see it, because it that way anything on grid tracker I can see it here to quickly be able to reference looking up or down based on what's on the call roster. And then I've got my scope here onto the right side. So this is just how I like to have it. So let's go in here and I'll show you my settings and how I've got them. Obviously, your general settings, you go in there, put your call sign in your grid, and these are the checks that I've got set for, blanking out your scope between decoding periods, your distance. I set it in miles on mine. Your text to receive frequency. This is just the checks and how I've got it for general setting. For the radio, you go up, you select your rig. So that's what I've got set here. Your cat control and your push-to-talk methods, that's all going to be based on your rig and your radios and what USB you've got set. With my 991A, it's got a USB directly right into the computer, so I don't need a signal link or anything like that. But I've got my baud rate set to match the radio, and this may take some playing around to figure out which serial port you are. I've got COM5 for the cat control, and the push-to-talk method under RTS through the rig is set up as COM6, and that's generally going to be your, you're going to have one versus the other, and as you're looking, it'll kind of make sense to you which one you're going with. I left the data bits as default, stop bits at 2, handshake I left it default. Your split operation you could set to control more. The mode is USB. So this is your general setting. You go into your audio. I just leave it as default input device. On your computer, you may want to make sure that it's, sometimes you'll see, USB codec. That is the one you want to use. Make sure you're set to. If you come down here on my settings, you'll see I've got it USB codec. So that's why the default device works with the radio. So you can hear the tones coming from the radio, but your transmission that you're sending, you're not actually going to hear your tones that way. You won't hear your signal. So it kind of makes it a little cleaner to listen to. Macros, you can preset some macros. I haven't really bothered with that. Promptly log your QSOs, UDP servers for your ADIF files and that. This is preset what I've got in here for secondary broadcasting that helps communicate with some of your channels or frequencies. Here's some of our, I haven't messed with any of these settings here. Colors I don't really mess with much. And, you can get in here for some of your JT65 and miscellaneous. So you can see here, these are the settings that I've got my WSJT set to. And as we're scrolling through here, you can see I'll just kind of let each window show what I've got. The most important ones you're going to have is your audio and the radio rig setup the way you got here. And you can test it out too. It'll show, when you hit test cat, it'll show that way. And also your push to talk, you'll see the little indicator on your radio kick on as though you're putting out your signal. So that is the settings on the WSJT program, how I've got them set to work with my rig and radio. It's a good starting point for you. The biggest thing would be figuring out what for controls for your own radio. And then, of course, as you're doing that, you can easily switch between all your bands. Between 80 meter, it automatically switch, which it automatically puts it on the radio that way. 40 meter. I do primarily on my FT8 mode. I'm usually on 10, 20 meter or 40 meter band is what I've worked so far. And we'll get into that a little bit more. And here's your 20 meters. You can see it's automatically switching. And you can see that it's working with GridTracker, and it's showing all my contacts on GridTracker that I've made so far. I just got my general in August of 2020, so this year, end of August. So that's when I really started working some of these other bands. So, I've made quite a few contacts in a short period of time, I feel. And it's preset with all your different frequencies. So I'll just put it back at 40 meters, and we'll leave it at that. And of course, with GridTracker, here's based on your band. When you're looking over here, your red and green little cursors, based on where they're at, it's going to show you your band traffic at that frequency hertz. And then as you're making direct received or sent, you can see it shows here. And you can change that around. I'm just going to set right here at 1200 because it seems like it's a little empty there, just so it's preset. Once we go through the settings on the GridTracker and what I've got set and show you, then we'll transition into see if we can make a couple of live contacts on this video in real time, so you can just see it all working and logging and what it shows as far as the message traffic. So when you come in here to GridTracker, really good program to utilize along with your WSJT program. I've got my call roster, as I said, shows over here, and when things are really busy, it shows a lot more. And maybe we'll switch to 20 meters when it goes to do some real-time contacts. We'll see. You come in here. Here's all your little icons that kind of open everything up. Here's for your call roster. You can open or close it. Toggle your push pins, so obviously you can change it. As you can see, push pin to the grids, so you can zoom right in, really check out the map. Your push pins will show you a little more of a direct spot. Your next is lookup window, so you can do a call sign lookup for somebody. This is the last one that as I transmitted out, it popped up showing, but you can do a lookup to try to find someone. Here's some stats. Obviously there's a lot to this. Online, offline mode. Toggle your gray line. I've got my gray line toggled, so it shows you where the moon is, where your gray line is running. I like seeing that. The next one here is your map legends. There's a lot of videos out there showing you in detail a lot of this. I didn't want to get too much. I've got this one I find very helpful. When I'm up here in some inclement weather, rain coming, bad storms. I've been doing some FT8, and all of a sudden I hear a big crack of lightning come across my computer, sound effect, and it highlights, basically telling you that there's lightning strikes detected close to you. In other words, you may want to shut your equipment down so you don't damage it. You can export your ADF files and load them manually that way. But let's just go in and show you some of these quick settings here. General tab, I've got this where it's all automatically running. You can see where it puts it into your ADF files and your UDP for or either sending out or pulling in IP addresses and stuff. You set your grid square. I set it to statute miles. You can toggle it through, kilometers, nautical miles, degrees, I just leave it on statute miles because I'm in the U.S. and miles make sense. And let's go here in your lookups. You can preset, I've got this set up where it does your lookups right from QRZ. And I put in my username and password for QRZ, so it automatically, and you can test it and make sure you've got a good, valid, connection that way. Then of course I've got it where it does, you can check all of the lookups and how you want it to do. And call sign databases, ULS, Logbook of the World, EQSO. I've got those checked too, so it tries to pull from multiple. When it comes into audio, you can set basically where when it logs something, it does a little audible tone, dings at me or whatever, and I can look and I can make sure that it logged all of my log keeping software or tracking that I want to keep it on. Map, you can change your map and all of that in here, and your path colors. So when you're making a contact, it'll show you a dotted or dashed line to the contact. And you can see where other people are making contacts. And in the night mode, it changes colors. This is another important spot here for logging. Start up. Yep. Go ahead and open up my profile and log file. Pull it from my local files and all that, so it keeps track. So that way up here you can see 40 meter band FT8. It tells me I've worked 32 stations, and of those 32 that I've worked, 27 of them have confirmed on through either like QRZ, EQSL. One of them, they've confirmed that contact. So that's pretty good, considering on 40 meters I've worked 32 stations, and 27 of them have confirmed that yes, they've worked me. So that way it shows in my log as a confirmed contact. And then right here at startup, QRZ.com, you go on your QRZ.com into your account stuff, and you can put your API key to put in there. Club log is another source you can log stuff. I don't have that set up, but it's got my call sign pre-staged. Logbook of the World, I've got it set, and you put in your information so you can test the download, test your TQSL, so that way you've got a good communication there, and it logs it there for you as well. All of this, when you've got all these set, it'll automatically, every contact you make, it'll automatically put that contact in your logs electronically in any of these that you've got preset. These are some pretty popular ones. Log 4OM, I use that one a lot, so it automatically puts it there. The N1MM Logger Plus, I haven't really used that a lot, but it does. I do have that as a program on my computer that I do like how it kind of seems to work. So here's it. This is all good here. And then of course you can preset your alerts, your call roster, always on top. Max age of it. Every 2 minutes, it kind of keeps it refreshed that way. When there's a lot of activity going on, you'll see a lot of names and call signs and a brief location stuff where they're at. So we're going to try to see if we can find something busy so we can show you a good live action on it. So just, your OEMS, logbook, it's just some settings that, and of course anything on the updates or about. And here you can do your PSK and stuff like that, which will show you kind of where your signal's been heard, so you can see what kind of coverage you're getting. I do like that. So you can also hit here for your celestial. It tells you, as of right now, our HF conditions were fair on 20, 30, 40, and 80, good on 40 and 80, fair on 20 and for tonight so far. So, I'm going to check out, scroll through a couple of the 10 meter, because I know there's a contest going on. Maybe 10 meters would be pretty busy. I'm going to check 20, and we'll go from there to see what we've got for a good contact. So with that, I'll close this. I'll kind of leave it. I'm going to transition to where you can possibly see a little bit of my radio equipment, and we'll go from there. So bear with me 1 second. Transition to that. Add me another on the screen, and turn my volume up a little bit on the radio. So you can hear that. It is kind of snowing and a little bit of a storm out here. up here in New York, so the noise and that's a little louder than usual on here. But that's our 40 meter tones going off, as you can hear. Let's see. Let me check 20 meters, see how busy that's looking. You can hear that I clicked on the radio and moved me over. You can see on 20 meters here, I've got 67 stations worked and 53 confirmed. And you can see on my call roster, right here is KC2DUX from New Jersey down in Cape May. And from here, I can actually double click this. I'm going to try to make a contact. You see it populated them here, so on my tone, you'll see my radio click to transmit. There we go, on transmitting to him, and you can see it here on the screen. And looking at my tuner here, my screen's a little lit, so you probably can't see it real well. Let me preset my... I did switch to 20 meters, so let me do this. Change my tuner to my... I got a quick cheat sheet that I've got that I kind of use. And then I can tweak it from there. See if we can get a few contacts live. Putting out about I've got it set at 100 watts. Why not? Got it, push it out there, see if I can get heard. Up here I seem to have a hard time getting heard, but I got it set at 100. You know, my reflected, I'm running a little less than I'm usually a lot better than what it's showing, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I usually get full power out with very low SWR and very little reflected back, but we'll see if we can tweak it and get a little better here. You can see it's kind of running away, and I am not getting you're not getting an answer back from him, so I might just switch and do a CQ. I'm trying to tweak it here a little bit. There we go, a little better there. Getting it fine-tuned in. I've got probably about a 1.2 to 1.3 SWR with shows less than 5 watts reflected. This is on my vertical HF, my high gain AV 680 9-band vertical that I've got. I went through, tuned everything to pretty much to be center of the band, low SWR, and you know, of course, I've got it preset with my tuner and everything here. So I'm running pretty good for our signal. Hopefully, we can make some contacts here live, real time, but we'll see. Trying. All I can do is put my call out there and see if anybody responds. I want to try to see and show it log here for us. If we can get a contact to log. Alright, well, I'm gonna done a bunch of call outs there. Let's see. Let's try this guy. Once you transmit, you'll see it'll do an automatic lookup when it. Yep, there we go. So I'm transmitting a call to him. Once this transmit finishes, I got K7ACT calling out to me. So once my transmit stops, I'll switch. So I'll actually reply to him on my next cycle through. There we go, and I'm giving him a negative 0.8 on my signal report. And you can see here the green line calling down. He's at grid EM60. The green are anybody that's calling CQ. Red are my confirmed. Yellow are ones that I've worked that haven't confirmed yet. And blue is normally they're in communication with somebody else. So when you see him over here, you can see like this. This is me and him working together. That's why I'm blue. If I can get a reply back, maybe he's not hearing me. It's a possibility. You can see right here, these two are communicating. There's a black line going between. You can see this is me up here, and the green line is him and I are in communication. He may not be hearing me though. So, or he may be in already somebody communicating with him. Either he's not hearing my signal, it could be many things. I'm going to halt my transmission here. We haven't having good luck on 20 meters either, so let me drop down to 10. Let's try 10 because with the contest going on, maybe there's a lot of people on here. And it's dead silence. You can see on 10 meters, I got 14 stations worked, 13 confirmed. But it is dead silence here on 10 meters on FT8 mode. There is nothing going on. Oh, there's somebody. Let it get caught up in. J80. That's one of the first things I did is I took an Excel spreadsheet with my tuner, keyed up the signals, and I went through top of the band, middle of the band, and the digital, like FT8, for your WSJT, and I preset, figured out, played with to get the best forward and reflected and best SWR on my meter. And I punched those, like I've got here, which antenna it is. I got a couple of different columns, and then got the bands running down the left side with the frequencies. And then I've got the inductor, or the inductance for A through A through L. So when I get that setting, that's what I put there. And then my transmit match and my antenna match. I've got, so here's my inductor selector, transmit match, antenna match, and I go through, figure out where my best SWR and forward reflected is with my rig at that frequency, fine tune it, and then I put it on the chart. So that way I've got a quick reference. Now, your propagation and what's going on that day, weather, atmosphere, all of that plays a factor. But this gives me a baseline to quickly go to when I switch channels or frequencies, and then I can fine tune from there as I'm on it. So I find it helpful. I'm going to go ahead and switch back and see if there's something else here. I want to try to make a contact here. So let me do it. Just key up for a 20 meters on a CQ call again. Try this again. I am not having good luck. I just want to at least get one contact real time on here. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Maybe the propagation is hurting me. I will be trying to put up a third antenna at the house here. Wife's a little finicky on it, but I'm going to go through and try to put up a dipole. Horizontal, might be a fan or multi-band, maybe just my 80 meter what I got. But I'm going to try to run that across so that way I've got another way of switching between different antennas. And I've got my quick reference chart already set up for it. I just got to figure out the settings for my signal. Let's see here. Come on. Here we go. K4CY is calling me, responding to my CQ. Let's see if I can get no results for the call sign. So let's see. Looks like it's somewhere there, Nebraska possibly. He gave me a signal of -18 and I'm received at -14. So it could be my vertical is not going to give me the best. I'll show you here PSK. In my spots. Here's my spots right now on 20 meters. I've had stations hear me down. Oh, wow. So all these little points on this gold, if you can see it, are other GridTracker stations that are saying they've heard my signal. So I've got all kinds of here on the West Coast, over here in Europe and off Africa, and all the way down here in New Zealand has also heard me. But I'm not getting any responses back yet. So this is just your PSK spots, and it keeps track over, here it's a refresh every minute or so. I've got it set, and it shows the age of I've got it set to max age 15 minutes. So kind of keeps it current, showing who's hearing me. So you can turn that back off and it toggles back to what you got. Now, this station, he may not be picking me up. He heard me on CQ, but he's not responding to me. So now either he's already been in communication with somebody else and I'm just going to wait for him to finish and then respond back. It's going to happen, but generally, what happens, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the CQ. Oh, he's giving me a Roger received. Okay. So I am responding back to him, Roger 7-3, FT8 mode, his call sign, date, time. So he finished up the contact. I apparently took a little bit on the decode. I'm going to put in here, I'm at 100 watts just so it's in there. And when I hit OK, you'll hear a ding. And you'll see over here all the log. Or should have. There we go. It didn't ding for me, but right here you can see, oh, there it is. Log, a little delayed. It's been a little bit, it's been a week or so since I've done any FT8, so it's a little finicky today, but right here you can see it logged to log 4OM, it logged the GridTracker backup, it logged the QRZ, logged the EQSL, and logged the TQSL. So it just put that contact on multiple different logs for me that people can confirm and have interaction for outside of the programs to confirm your contacts. And now you can see it says work 67. So when they confirm, it'll also change here. So there's a real-time contact and everything on WSJT. Sorry, and hopefully that kind of helps you and gets you interested. Maybe trying some digital modes on here. Maybe we'll make a contact together. So let me turn this down, and with that, let's transition back. Okay, well, hey, thanks for watching the video today, and hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's helpful and you find it useful for what you're doing. You have fun with your radio and get on the air.